Morning all. So today I just wanted to have a quick chat about debt and paying off that as quick as you can, really. So in the previous days we've obviously identified the benefits of having a spending plan, identifying the income that's coming in, your outgoings, and then creating a difference that you can look to save. Then yesterday we talked about building up emergency funds, so using some of that disposable income to build up a cushion should the worst happen. And initially it's just a small amount of around about £1,000. Once you've done that, if you've then built up debt, and the sort of debt that I'm talking about is where we spent the money, benefit from the money, and now we're left with having to pay for those items. So commonly it's going to be credit card loans, overdrafts now, things like some personal loans. Then they're all going to really restrict your ability to build wealth and build assets, because obviously you've got that kind of commitment to making those monthly payments. The interest in those areas is very high, so 16, 17, 18, they're all variable. And if you're just paying the minimum payments on your credit card, then all that's going to happen is that debt is just going to stay there and it's going to go nowhere. We know what the mental health issues are surrounding debt, so it's really key to kind of eliminate the need to use credit cards and loans to buy things. It's trying to move away from this idea that credit is so easy that we just spend things, we buy things that we don't really need. I think Will Smith has got a great quote saying too many people buy things they don't want to impress people they don't like. So it's just really getting a handle on that. So if you are in a situation where you have built up debt, then there are certain ways that you can deal with that. Now, obviously, if you're in a situation where you've built up a huge amount of debt and you're really struggling to service that, then really you need to take some advice on that. So there's debt advice lines, the money advice service. Check those out, because they've got people you can speak to that can help you out in that situation. During the current COVID situation, we've been able to take payment holidays on things. So you've got your mortgage, those credit cards, loans that ran out at the end of October, although they have now extended that. So again, if it's a case of the situation is causing you a problem to maintain these payments, then speak to your lenders and the borrowers and see if they can then look at those payments for you. With any issue with debt, they're the first people to speak to. Speak to the people that you owe the money to, because it may well be that they can help you manage those payments. But really it's just a case of trying to prioritize that debt. So if we've gone into a situation where we've created a situation where we're bringing home more than we're paying out, then it's using that money to reduce and pay down those debts. And there's sort of like several ways of doing that. So what you want to do is you obviously want to list out your debt that you have, who it's with, the amount that's owed, the monthly payments, and then importantly the interest rate. So I say there's several ways of doing this. So commonly what people do is we look at the interest rates. We want to reduce down the interest that you're paying on those debts. One way you can do that is to restructure that debt, and that could be by using credit card balance transfers. So they used to be really common where you'd be able to transfer your credit card debt onto a 0% interest. It used to be that there was no charge for doing that, but now there's often a fee of, it can be anything, but it could be 2-3% of the balance being transferred. Once you've been able to get your interest rate down, then what you should be able to identify is the debts that you've got and the interest rates that you're paying. And a common tactic to use is then to look at the debt that you're paying the highest interest rate on and going for that one first. So you pay the minimum on all the other debts because you don't want to fall behind on any of those payments, and then you overpay on the debt that has the highest interest rate. The idea behind that is obviously if you can reduce down the highest interest rate and clear that one off, you'll be saving yourself a lot more interest. Once you've been able to attack that one and clear that one off, you then move to the next one, and you keep going until all your debt is repaid. Things like personal loans, car finance, well, that might be a little bit harder to do because there may well be penalties for overpaying on those things. And it may well be that you kind of have to get a situation where you just pay that loan down. But the key with any debt payments is that you're not building up debt elsewhere, so you're not overpaying on those things only to be building up the debt again in on another credit card. It really needs to be as part of your overall financial well-being. So that's one way to pay them. Another one, another method is to use what they call the Snowball Method. And the idea behind this is you've got your list of all your debt that you owe, but rather than attacking the one that's got the highest interest rate, you attack the one that's got the lowest balance. So the idea behind this is actually what it can do is you can get some quick wins. So if you pay off the lowest balance, then suddenly it's quicker and you've got rid of that debt and you can move to the next one. And so it's more of a gamification really. So you're not going to say you're going to be paying more interest, but you'll be able to see instant results by doing that. So it kind of stems, so it's really a case of paying that interest off, and that's your high interest debt. That doesn't include your things like your home debt, so your mortgage debt. So because the interest rate on that is commonly a lot lower. I do get asked whether you can consolidate your borrowing debt, your credit card debt onto your mortgage. Well, that is an option. The only thing I would say about that is that what you're going to end up doing is probably over the longer term paying off a lot more, or paying a lot more interest on that loan, because mortgages commonly over a long period of time. So even though it's a lower interest rate, you're going to be extending the life of that credit, and eventually you're going to end up paying more interest. So if you can attack the credit in its current format as quickly as you can, pay as minimal interest as you can by either transferring it or ringing your lenders up and seeing if there's anything they can do about the interest rate that you're paying, then hopefully you can attack that debt as quick as you can. As I say, if you're in any problems with that, then really you need to search out some specialist advice, some debt advice about how to deal with that, and your money advice service and debt advice lines are a good place to go with that. So I hope you're all going to having a great week. I'll see you again tomorrow for another video. Thank you.